Your dream life is not far away, but there is one uncomfortable truth standing between you and everything you want. You cannot step into that life while remaining the same version of yourself that you are today. The life you dream about is not waiting for your wishes, your emotions, or your temporary motivation. It is waiting for a stronger version of you. Most people misunderstand this completely. They think their problem is outside them. They believe they are stuck because of bad luck, lack of opportunities, unfair circumstances, or the actions of other people. So they spend their time blaming life, analyzing situations, and waiting for things to change on their own. But the real limitation is not outside. It is inside. It is the gap between who you are right now and who you need to become to handle the life you desire. You say you want success, but your daily habits do not reflect success. You say you want discipline, but your actions still follow comfort. You say you want focus, but your attention is still controlled by distractions. You say you want a better future, but you are not consistently building a better version of yourself today. These contradictions are the reason nothing is moving forward. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. Your dream life does not require a different world. It requires a different you, a stronger mindset, a more disciplined routine, a more controlled emotional response, a person who can stay consistent when motivation disappears, a person who can continue working even when results are not visible, a person who does not escape pressure but grows through it. Right now, the version of you that exists is shaped by comfort, repetition, and old habits. But your dream life demands strength, responsibility, patience, and discipline. And until that internal shift happens, everything outside will continue to feel delayed, blocked, or out of reach. This is where most people get stuck. They try to change their life without changing themselves. They want better results without better habits. They want a new reality without building a new identity. But life does not respond to desire alone. It responds to identity. Every action you take is shaping that identity. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you reinforce the current version of yourself. Every time you avoid discipline, you strengthen the habits that keep you stuck. And every time you choose consistency, even in small things, you slowly build the stronger version you need. There is no shortcut around this process. Transformation is not instant. It is built through repetition, discomfort, learning, and correction. The person you need to become already exists in potential, but it must be built through action. So the real question is not whether your dream life is possible. The real question is whether you are willing to become the version of yourself that can actually live it. Because your dream life is not waiting for more time. It is waiting for a stronger you. You are not stuck, you are underdeveloped. One of the most important truths you need to understand is that you are not truly stuck in life. You are underdeveloped in certain areas that your dream life requires. This might sound uncomfortable, but it is far more useful than the idea that life is simply against you. Because if you are stuck, then you feel powerless. But if you are underdeveloped, then you have something you can actually work on and improve. Most people prefer the idea of being stuck because it removes responsibility. It allows them to say that circumstances are the problem, that timing is wrong, that opportunities are missing, or that life is unfair. But in reality, life is constantly responding to who you are right now. Not who you want to be, not who you imagine yourself as, but who you consistently show up as every single day. Your current level in life is not random. It is a reflection of your current habits, decisions, discipline, and mindset. If your habits are weak, your results will reflect that weakness. If your discipline is inconsistent, your progress will also be inconsistent. If your mindset is filled with doubt, hesitation, and excuses, your life will reflect delay and confusion. Underdevelopment does not mean you are incapable. It simply means there are areas in your life that have not been trained enough yet. Just like a muscle grows through resistance, your life grows through responsibility. Without pressure, there is no growth. Without challenge, there is no improvement. Without repetition, there is no mastery. The problem is that many people want the results of a developed person while still living like an undeveloped one. They want confidence without experience. They want discipline without practice. They want success without consistency. But life does not separate results from identity. What you are becoming internally always shows up externally. If you observe closely, you will notice a pattern. Whenever you upgrade your actions, even slightly, your life begins to shift. When you become more disciplined for a few days, you feel more in control. When you focus more, you get better outcomes. When you take responsibility instead of avoiding it, progress starts appearing. This proves that change is not blocked. It is simply waiting for consistent effort. Underdevelopment is not something to be ashamed of. It is something to be aware of. Because awareness is the beginning of transformation. You cannot fix what you refuse to see clearly. And you cannot improve what you keep blaming on external factors. The moment you stop labeling yourself as stuck and start seeing yourself as someone who is still developing, everything changes. You stop waiting for life to change you and start actively changing yourself. You stop expecting instant results and start building long-term strength. Nothing in your life will shift until you accept this responsibility. You are not stuck in life. You are simply not yet the version of yourself required for the life you want. And the good news is, that version can be built starting from today. Your current habits are not designed for your dream life. Another major reason your dream life still feels out of reach is because your current habits are not designed for the life you want. They are designed for the life you already have. And this is where most people get confused. They try to achieve a new level of life while still repeating the same daily behaviors that created their current situation. Habits are powerful because they operate silently. You do not always notice them shaping your future. They feel small, automatic, and harmless in the moment. But over time, they build your entire identity. Waking up late, delaying important tasks, spending hours on distractions, avoiding difficult work, and choosing comfort repeatedly may not feel serious in a single day. But when these actions are repeated for months and years, they become the structure of your life. Your habits are not just actions. They are signals of what you accept as normal. If your normal routine is low effort, your results will stay low effort. If your normal behavior is inconsistency, your outcomes will also be inconsistent. If your normal pattern is distraction, your focus will always remain weak. Life does not respond to what you occasionally do. It responds to what you consistently repeat. This is why motivation alone cannot change your life. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes based on mood, environment, and emotion. But habits are stable. They operate even when motivation disappears. If your habits are weak, your motivation cannot save you. But if your habits are strong, even low motivation cannot stop you from progressing. Most people fail because they try to build a new life on top of old habits. They want discipline but continue choosing comfort. They want focus but continue feeding distractions. They want growth but continue avoiding effort. This creates internal conflict. One part of them wants change, while another part keeps pulling them back into the familiar routine. To change your life, you must first change what you repeat daily. Not once, not occasionally, but consistently. Small actions matter more than big intentions. Waking up slightly earlier, working a little longer, reducing unnecessary screen time, completing one important task daily, or learning for a short focused period may seem small, but these actions slowly reshape your identity. Your dream life is not built in rare moments of inspiration. It is built in ordinary, repeated actions. No one sees these moments, but they decide everything. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are redesigning your future. Every time you follow your routine without excuses, you are strengthening your identity. The uncomfortable truth is that your habits are currently protecting your old life. They are keeping you in a familiar zone because repetition creates comfort, even if that comfort leads nowhere meaningful. That is why change feels difficult. You are not only changing actions, you are breaking identity-level patterns. But the moment you start replacing old habits with better ones, even slowly, everything begins to shift. Your energy improves, your focus sharpens, your confidence increases. And most importantly, your life starts aligning with your effort. Nothing changes until your habits change. Because your habits are not part of your life. They are your life. Comfort is the silent enemy of your growth. One of the biggest reasons your dream life still feels far away is because comfort has become your silent enemy. It does not attack you directly. It does not warn you. It does not feel dangerous in the moment. In fact, comfort feels safe, familiar, and relaxing. But over time, it slowly becomes the reason you stop growing. Comfort is powerful because it does not force you to stop trying. It simply convinces you to delay. It tells you, you can do it later. It says today is not the right day. It whispers you deserve rest first. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin choosing ease over effort again and again. Each time you choose comfort, you feel a small relief. But that relief is temporary. The cost of it is long-term stagnation. Growth never happens inside comfort. Growth always begins where comfort ends. Every meaningful improvement in life requires some level of discomfort. Learning something new feels uncomfortable at first. Building discipline feels uncomfortable at first. Changing habits feels uncomfortable at first. Facing your weaknesses feels uncomfortable at first. But this discomfort is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of progress beginning. The problem is that most people are trained to avoid discomfort at all costs. They stop when something feels hard. They quit when effort increases. They delay when pressure appears. They escape when responsibility feels heavy. Over time, this creates a pattern where comfort becomes the default setting of life. But here is the truth. Comfort does not kill your dreams instantly. It slowly replaces them. It does not destroy your potential in one moment. It quietly delays it every single day. You keep telling yourself you will start tomorrow, but tomorrow keeps turning into months and years. And during this time, your potential remains unused. Successful people are not those who never feel discomfort. They are the ones who accept it. They understand that discomfort is the price of transformation. They do not run from hard work. They step into it. They do not wait for perfect feelings. They act despite resistance. This is what separates progress from stagnation. If you examine your life honestly, you will notice how often comfort controls your decisions. Choosing rest over work, choosing scrolling over learning, choosing delay over action, choosing easy tasks over important ones. These choices may seem small, but they build your entire direction. Breaking free from comfort requires awareness and courage. You must start noticing when comfort is making decisions for you. You must question yourself. Am I choosing this because it is necessary or because it is easy? That simple question can change your direction over time. You do not need to eliminate comfort completely. You need to stop letting it control your life. You can rest, but not at the cost of your goals. You can relax, but not as an escape from responsibility. You can take breaks, but not permanent breaks from growth. Nothing in your life will move forward if comfort continues making your decisions. Because comfort always protects your current life, not your future one. And your dream life does not exist inside comfort. It exists on the other side of it. You keep delaying the person you need to become. Another deep reason your dream life still feels out of reach is because you keep delaying the person you need to become. Not the goals, not the dreams, not the plans. You are delaying your own transformation. You are constantly saying, I will become that person later, instead of becoming that person today. Most people think change is something that happens in the future. They believe one day they will suddenly become disciplined, focused, confident, and consistent. They imagine a version of themselves that wakes up early, works hard, avoids distractions, and never quits. But that version never arrives on its own. It is not something that magically appears in the future. It is something that is built through repeated actions in the present. Every day you delay becoming that person, the gap between your current self and your dream self increases. You keep pushing transformation into tomorrow. You say from next week I will change, or from next month I will start seriously, or from next year I will become better. But tomorrow always feels like a safer place to change than today. And that is exactly why nothing changes. The truth is simple, but uncomfortable. You already know what kind of person you need to become. You know you need more discipline. You know you need better habits. You know you need focus, consistency, and responsibility. You are not confused about what is required. You are just postponing it because becoming that person feels difficult in the present moment. This delay creates a silent identity conflict inside you. One part of you wants growth. It wants success, progress, and improvement. But another part wants comfort, ease, and delay. These two versions constantly fight inside your mind. And when delay wins repeatedly, the stronger version of you never gets a chance to develop. Becoming a new version of yourself does not require a big moment. It requires small decisions repeated consistently. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are becoming that person. Every time you complete a task instead of avoiding it, you are becoming that person. Every time you act when you do not feel like it, you are shaping your identity. But when you delay these actions, you reinforce the old version of yourself. You strengthen the identity of someone who starts but does not finish, someone who plans but does not execute, someone who wants change but avoids effort. Over time, this becomes your default identity. The uncomfortable truth is that your future self is not waiting for time to pass. Your future self is waiting for your decisions to change. The longer you delay becoming disciplined, the harder discipline feels. The longer you delay responsibility, the more overwhelming responsibility becomes. You do not need a perfect moment to start becoming better. You need a decision. A decision to stop postponing growth. A decision to act even when it feels uncomfortable. A decision to stop waiting for a future version of yourself and start building it today. Nothing is holding you back except delay. And the moment you stop delaying your transformation, your life finally starts moving forward. Your identity is still not aligned with your goals. One of the deepest reasons your dream life still feels distant is because your identity is not aligned with your goals yet. You may have big dreams, clear desires, and strong intentions, but your identity is still operating at an older level. And life always responds more to identity than intention. Identity is how you see yourself when no one is watching. It is the internal belief about who you are and what you do consistently. If you see yourself as someone who delays, avoids, or struggles with discipline, your actions will naturally follow that belief. If you see yourself as someone who is focused, responsible, and consistent, your actions will also begin to follow that identity over time. Most people try to change their life by changing external things first. They try new goals, new plans, new routines, or new motivation, but they do not change how they see themselves internally. That is why their progress does not last, because behavior that is not supported by identity eventually collapses back to old patterns. You cannot live a disciplined life while still identifying as an undisciplined person. You cannot build success while still thinking like someone who avoids responsibility. You cannot reach higher levels while internally believing you are not capable of consistency. Your outer life always reflects your inner identity. This is why small repeated actions are so powerful. Every time you act differently from your old identity, you are slowly reshaping who you are. When you choose to wake up early even when it is hard, you are telling yourself, I am a disciplined person. When you complete tasks instead of avoiding them, you are reinforcing I am responsible. When you stay consistent even without motivation, you are building a new identity layer by layer. But most people do the opposite. They keep acting according to their old identity and expect a new life to appear. They think change will happen first, and then they will become different. But identity does not follow results instantly. It follows repetition. If you look at your current life honestly, it is already a reflection of your current identity. Not your potential identity, not your imagined identity, but your practiced identity. That means if you want a different life, you must first change who you repeatedly act as. The struggle comes from resistance. When you try to act like a better version of yourself, your old identity pushes back. It feels uncomfortable because you are breaking familiar patterns, but this discomfort is necessary. It means transformation is happening. You are not required to become perfect overnight. You only need to start acting slightly differently than your old identity. One better decision, one disciplined action, one moment of responsibility at a time. These small actions slowly overwrite old patterns. Over time, repetition creates belief, and belief creates identity, and identity creates results. That is the natural chain of change. Nothing in your life will fully transform until your identity transforms, because your life does not follow your dreams. It follows who you believe you are and how you consistently behave. When your identity finally aligns with your goals, your actions stop feeling forced. Discipline becomes natural, growth becomes steady. And your dream life stops feeling far away and starts becoming inevitable. Your dream life is not blocked, delayed, or impossible. It is simply waiting for a stronger version of you to step into it. Throughout everything you've read, one truth stays consistent. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not just about time, luck, or circumstances. It is about identity, habits, discipline, comfort, and the choices you repeat every single day. Most people spend their lives searching for external reasons why they are not progressing. They blame life, people, timing, or situations. But blaming never builds anything. It only creates the illusion that control is outside of you. And when control feels outside, effort naturally decreases. That is why so many people stay stuck for years without realizing the real issue is internal, not external. Change was never meant to come from waiting. It was always meant to come from becoming. Becoming someone more disciplined than yesterday. Becoming someone more responsible than before. Becoming someone who acts even when motivation disappears. Every part of this message points to the same direction. Your life changes when you change. If you look carefully, nothing in your life is random. Your habits created your routine. Your routine created your lifestyle. Your lifestyle created your results. And your results are now shaping how you feel about your life. This chain can either keep repeating the same pattern, or it can be broken through conscious change. But it will never change on its own. The most powerful realization is this: you are not waiting for life to improve. Life is waiting for you to improve, not in a dramatic way, not overnight, but through small, consistent, intentional actions that slowly build a different identity. You do not need a perfect version of yourself to start. You only need honesty. Honesty about what is not working. Honesty about what you are avoiding. And honesty about what needs to change. Once honesty is present, responsibility naturally follows. And responsibility is where real transformation begins. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are rewriting your future. Every time you stop delaying and start acting, you are closing the gap between who you are and who you need to become. Every time you take responsibility instead of blaming life, you reclaim your power. And that power is what shapes your direction. Your dream life is not built in imagination. It is built in repetition. It is built in the small decisions you make when no one is watching. It is built in the moments where you choose effort over ease, focus over distraction, and growth over comfort. Nothing changes instantly, but everything changes eventually. And what determines that change is not hope alone, but consistent action aligned with a stronger identity. So the final truth is simple. You are not far from your dream life. You are only far from the version of yourself who can sustain it. And the moment you start becoming that version, everything you once thought was impossible starts moving closer. Your dream life does not arrive when conditions change. It arrives when you change.